I've spent decades, along with bemoaning Bibi Netanyahu and Clean Break, thinking that Lindsey Graham is the stupidest person in Washington, the most vile. That's a very tough competition, by the way. But that man has never opened his mouth in 30 years without wanting more deaths of other people. And now he also says so clearly, no responsibility. I would like the American people to understand, I'm sure that they do, but just to clarify, we have been meddling in and destroying Iran now for 73 years actively. It was in 1953 that the CIA and MI6 overthrew the democratically elected and popular government of Prime Minister Mossadegh. They did it because Mossadegh had the complete audacity to say that the oil in Iran should belong to the Iranian people. This was far too much for Alan Dulles at the CIA and for MI6, who knew full well that the oil in Iran belongs to Britain and to the United States. So they overthrew him. In that case, there was a quote, successful regime change operation, which put in place a police state, the state led by the puppet, the Shah of Iran. In 1979, he was overthrown in a mass revulsion against decades of an American-imposed police state, and this government came into power. Immediately, the United States armed Iraq to kill hundreds of thousands of Iranians in the Iraq-Iran war between 1980 and 1988. Saddam Hussein was our guy. He was the CIA's guy. Of course, when the CIA is done with you, they kill you. So Saddam became the worst enemy of the United States soon afterwards, after he had done the bidding of the United States for years. Since then, it has been actually, now I know it, since 1986, it's been Bibi Netanyahu's dream to overthrow the Iranian government. I always counted it as 1996. But the United States has been using every subterfuge, covert operation. It has been using assassinations, economic warfare, crushing the Iranian economy ever since. The Iranians have said all that time they don't want a nuclear weapon. Bibi Netanyahu, who is a psychopath, said in 1996 they're weeks away, days away, months away. And he's been saying that for 30 years. For all I know, he's been saying it for 40 years. He is a vulgar, blatant, genocidal liar. I hope I'm being clear. We're dealing with something absolutely dangerous in this world that is running our country. So it's extremely dangerous. The Iranians did not want a nuclear weapon. The religious leader who they just assassinated was the one that said, no nuclear weapons. It's against Islam. So kill him. It had nothing to do with nuclear weapons all this time. The Iranians reached out constantly to negotiate. And in 2015, they concluded an agreement with the United States, Britain, France, Russia, China, and Germany, the P5 countries plus one, called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. And it put Iran strictly under UN supervision in the International Atomic Energy Agency. Bibi Netanyahu had a fit because he wanted to overthrow the government. He did not want peaceful relations with a non-nuclear Iran. So Donald Trump, who is a puppet of our CIA, Mossad, and Miriam Adelson and the rest, ripped up the JCPOA in 2018. That's the story. Then they bombed one of Iran's nuclear facilities. And by the way, during the period from 2015 to 2018, Iran stuck with the agreement, even though the United States cheated on the agreement that it signed because it was supposed to end the US sanctions. which it did not do. Then Trump ripped it up. Then they began a campaign of assassinations. Then they began bombing Iran's nuclear facilities. And that's the story. They don't want an agreement. Last year, they negotiated, and then in the middle of the negotiations, bombed Iran. This year, again, they negotiated, and then bombed Iran. You might ask, why did Iran come back to the negotiating table this time after the falsity last time? I'll tell you why. It's a little strange. It's a little weird. But nobody behaves as badly as the United States. So it's very hard to calibrate when there is a government that says we're negotiating, when they bring in a mediator, in this case, Oman, when the US negotiators, Witkoff and Kushner, say, oh, we're making progress. It's hard for other people to calibrate the evil that's under it. This was a premeditated war, and the negotiations are a pretext. So this is what's happening.